are live. Welcome to Glamma's Closet, guys. Good morning, everyone. Hi, and happy Mother's Day. I want to, before we jump into the chat, I did want to send a special shout out to my own mother. She is she's an extremely fragile lady who has the strength to survive things that most of us can only think about in our worst nightmares as mothers. So I can tell you that she is a breast cancer survivor. I can tell you that she was a caretaker for her own mother and for my father when he got ill at the same time. She has been through so much trauma and tests of faith. And so I just really wanted to say, Mom, I appreciate every single sacrifice that you've ever made on behalf of myself and my brother and sister. I'm quite sure feel the exact same way. And we love you so much. And, you know, sometimes when you view somebody as weak, you don't really see their strength until you're older and you can truly appreciate what they have been through. So I do consider you one of the strongest survivors. Your survival instinct is incredible, and just absolutely precious and irreplaceable. I love you, Mom. And Sissy, if you're watching this, I love you, Sissy. You're a great mom. So thank you so much for indulging me in that. And now let's jump into the chat. Brenda Reed, good morning. Mwah. Happy Mother's Day, Glamma, Boo, and Glam Mom. That's you, Mom. Tackle hugs. Back at you. And thank you, and happy Mother's Day. Your son is a cutie, and Grandpa ain't bad either. I like him. I think he's cute. And thank you very much. What a lovely compliment. Ashley Reed, mwah. Good morning, Ashley. How are you this morning? I hope you're doing great. Michael, Angry Otters, Michael, my angel. Howdy, all you crazy cool kids. Won't be staying long. I have an appointment at 11 a.m. Oh, goodness. Oh. To sleep after 17 years, it's time he's tired. I'm so sorry, Michael. I'm so sorry. I know that this is a tough holiday for you to begin with. And for that to happen today also I wish I could hug you in person. And I'm so sorry for the grief that you'll be going through. And man, I'm sending you all the love in the world, honey. I really am. And big virtual tackle hugs. I just absolutely hope that you and Kevin make your self-care a priority today, and just know that I'm sending you love and light. I'm so sorry, God. Jennifer Hayes, good morning. Thank you so much for dropping the link, and good morning, gorgeous. Mwah. I hope things your way on the East Coast are doing extremely well, and happy Mother's Day. And this is a tough one for Jennifer too, and I am so sorry about that, but just know that, I just know that we love you. We love you. Yeah. Okay, so now that we've caught up a little bit with the chat, let's dive into by the way, happy Mother's Day to all of the moms in the chat. And we'll repeat that a little bit later too. Let's talk about what's happening with me messing with Poshmark. Okay, so Thursday night was my plan Thursday night to do the relist for 20 items. So the original relist that I did was for 10 items, 65 days. I think it was 65 days or 70. No, it was 65 days. And I added $1. Today, it was my plan on doing it on Thursday, but I had so much going on. I had an auction on Thursday, the baby on Friday, house cleaning Friday night. Saturday, we had my son's graduation. We were out of town until like 6 p.m. And by the time we got home, we were so exhausted. It was just crazy. So I didn't get a chance to until this morning. I did go on Poshmark and poke that bear with another stick. So this morning I did 20 relists. I did 60 exactly days, not 61, not 65. I did exactly 60 days, and I did not raise prices. So I'm going to see if there's any backlash on that, and I will keep you updated as we go along. My next move, if I don't hear from Poshmark, and I haven't so far this morning yet, but it's early. If I don't hear anything from Poshmark, my next move is to delete 10 items, 10 old stock piece items without doing a replacement for relist and see what they do. Now, on the other side of this, I have been listing new things last week. I was really good about listing. I think I listed like 12 new things, which if you list on Poshmark, it is like a 16 photo list because you have to measure everything and, clean everything up. Everything has to be ready and fresh and ready to ship out because you could sell it right then. So I did about 12 listings last week, new listings. And I was very, very proud of that. So we will see. I think too, there will be a week where I just won't list anything for a week and then try it again and see if they are mad about that. So, because the thing is that I've heard all sorts of different stories, and people, I had somebody come into the comments and they said, hey, it's supposed to be, it's only the ones that are less than 60 days. And I'm like, okay, well, as long as I stay above the 60, what can I get away with? Because I've had people say, I've heard people say, and I've heard people repeat stories about people who have posted on Poshmark, people who have posted on Poshmark, or the people who have just deleted an item or two and then got a warning, and all they did was delete. They didn't relist. I've heard stories about people who have used their bots to relist, and within the parameters that they gave us, and they said within that 60 days, meaning above the 60 days, I should say, and they've been suspended for that. So I'm curious as to what do you have to do to really get suspended? Is it just the bigger closets? Is it just the people who use sharing bots that aren't Posher VA? I'm not sure. But we're going to keep poking that bear and find out, because I can tell you that I did 65 days. I did 10 items relist, where it delist and relist them on Pasha VA. And I did add $1 to the price of each item. And for that set, nothing from Poshmark. I haven't had any backlash on that, any pushback on that. So it'll be interesting to find out. Does your auto Posher delete listings and relist them? Yes. And did you turn that feature off? I did not, but it doesn't do it automatically. You have to plug in for Posher VA, and I can only speak for that one because that's what I use. You have to actually make the choice to relist and delist, and you have to set the parameters for it. So, for example, I don't know if List Perfectly or Vendu has a thing where you can relist and delist, and you can actually choose how many days it's been listed. You can actually choose how many to relist. I simply do not know that answer. If somebody uses Vendu or List Perfectly, please let me know how you set that up. Do you set it up for that? Do you turn it on or off? Is it something where you can set the parameters for it pretty specifically? I'm just curious about that. Super curious about that. But that's how the experiment of messing with Poshmark is going so far. And like I said, if I get suspended for a few days, I'm not adverse to jumping on that grenade. It does not. I'm okay with that. We do have several things coming up in Glamma's Closet within the next month. We have the members only auction coming up this coming Thursday. If you're a member of the channel and you want to sign up still, there are still spots, but we have 4 spots filled, and I may go ahead and fill the 5th spot myself if I don't get any more any more sellers. Then I'll probably fill that 5th spot myself, and that would give us a full lineup. And I would be selling for Aunt Boo. I've got several pieces of hers that would go well, I think, at auction. So I'll be selling to Aunt Boo, selling for Aunt Boo. Sorry on that specific one. We still do have the Pride auction on June the 5th. If you'd like to sign up for that, please reach out to me and let me know. If you would like to sign up for the Pride auction, at this time I have 3 presenters. I have 3 sellers on that auction and would love to see more. If you're a member of the LGBTQ plus community, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And my email is listed below. So you'll find that below in the description bar. Thank you. It's the 3rd annual Classic Crap Pride auction, and we are just as pleased as punch to be able to help the LGBTQ plus community in any way. It has certainly been a journey for them this year. I can say that. I'll be on Ella's auction next week on May the 22nd in the afternoon from 1 o'clock. I think it's 1 o'clock. It's either 1 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, I think it's 1 o'clock Eastern because it's normally noon Central. It's about a 4-hour auction. I don't know what other guests she has coming on, but it is a lot of fun. Do want to send some shout outs as well. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you to Toochman for having me on his auction on Thursday night. Thank you to New England Cajun Roots Reseller for having me on his auction on Tuesday. On Tuesday, Cheryl Stevens purchased some items from me on the Cajun Roots Reseller auction. So Cheryl Stevens, thank you so much. From the Toochman auction on Thursday night, I wanted to send special shouts out and thank yous to Patty Rose for her purchases. Jane, Tooch, thank you for purchasing in the back room and buying space. Myra, thank you so much for your purchase and your gift. She's sending it as a gift to another reseller, and it's a lovely gift. Cheryl Stevens, thank you so much again. I truly appreciate your business. Dawn Southern Finds, Dawn, thank you so much. I appreciate your business as well. And Johnny, Cajun Roots Reseller, thank you for your purchase. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, guys. I think those are most of the announcements that I needed to make. And there's Tooch's link right there. If she has Victoria, Lord help you. Hi, Randy. Hey, good morning. Where's Randy? Let's see. Good morning, Randy. How are you this morning? Happy Mother's Day. Patrick Murphy. Good morning. Good morning, Patrick Murphy. P. Murph, my brother from another mother. Happy Sunday. Roman, and hello. How are you, buddy? Hello. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am a mom, and I'm a very proud mom, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit too, because I'm so proud of my boys. I just couldn't be more proud. And thank you very much for that wonderful well wish. I appreciate it. That is very, very kind. Uh, let's see. I did that. Okay. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit today about social media and how it affects. There are members of our community who do reselling part time, and that's not their full time job. There are some people who do reselling as a way to supplement a full time income. So they do have regular 9 to 5 jobs. I've always worked a regular 9 to 5 job right up until I retired. But well, when I say regular 9 to 5 job, I mean I worked full time in a hotel. That's kind of a 24-hour job. Um, but I wanted to ask about social media, because here's the thing. There are people who post things on social media that maybe don't agree with their employer's viewpoints. And sometimes they are offensive to some people. There are people who post on social media and they do things that would be considered distasteful if you were to do them in an office. There are people who teach children, and sometimes they'll make a social media post that goes directly against the value of the parents. And my question for you is, how far does social media's reach, how far should that go in determining your employment? So should you be able to get in trouble for something posted on a personal social media account that your company does not agree with or does not like? If you are not posting on the company account, if you don't have your business's or company's name listed in your social media account. Now, let me say this to start. I believe that if you are the face of the company, for example, if you are, let's say, Jared from Subway, problematic, but that gets us where we're going. If you are if you're a forward-facing person in the company, so let's say that you're in sales, or let's say that you are in I don't know, customer service, or that you're in the media and marketing department and you are visual and known to be part of that company. I believe in that particular instance, you do have a responsibility to protect your workplace from the presence of your face making offensive comments. I just do, because you're being paid to be the face of the company. That being said, where do we draw the line between the liberty of free speech and the liberty of being able to express an opinion on the internet, or in public or in person, that may or may not agree with your company's guidelines? I'm curious as to where they think the line should be drawn, because if you are the poster, if you're the person posting something, it would seem to me that your view would be that you're allowed to post anything you want because that's your free speech. That's who you are when you're not at work. That's not you representing the company. It's just you representing yourself. On the other hand, I can see why companies would let people go for being offensive, and for being, or for saying or doing things that are considered distasteful or vile. It's such a fine line for me, and I'm not entirely sure where they should draw the line. Lucky for me, I'm no longer in corporate America in that way. So yeah. Patrick said, Lord God, it shouldn't affect you. Okay. Most companies have a social media policy now. Yes, they do. And they will terminate for offensive information, and they will also use as a resource for applicants. Yes. So never be careful what you post on social media if you're job hunting. First of all, you will go looking at social media. That is your fault. I will not be responsible for the brain bleach you will need. Oh, good. Randy, you're back. Patrick used to be the Bengals head coach, and he was fired since the Bengals were always bad, but it wasn't his fault, but he was fired anyway. I knew that. Yeah. I mean, clearly Patrick Murphy and football go together like oil and water, or peanut butter and pickles. If your company on a social media account, yes, but if your own personal account in your office time, no. Interesting. When it distracts is the line in a workplace. Okay, and that leads me, Randy, that's a very good point. But it also leads me to my next question. Who is the judge of what distracts? Because some people are distracted while other people are not. If I walk into a place, let's say 30 years ago when I was still cute, if I walked into my place of work in a short skirt, who would it be distracting to? Because if the guy across from me is a young, horny, straight guy, it's going to have a totally different effect than it would on a 50-year-old gay man with the husband. It's going to have a different effect than it would on a young lady or an older lady, if they're attracted to women, or if they're not attracted to women. It's so distraction is a difficult thing, because it seems like that would also be one of those sort of blurry lines to me. I don't like the office siren thing, that the office siren trend that they're doing on TikTok. But that has more to do with just being, generally a Midwestern dresser. So I tend to dress more conservatively. And also, it feels like excuse me, it feels like that trend was embraced by young ladies, for drawing the male gaze, which is, you don't have to work that hard. Girls, you do not have to work that hard. They're looking. Trust me. They're looking. Actually, Roman, I was fired because I would throw the game to the Steelers every single time. That probably became the Steelers owner, and I was also fired by the Steelers mascot. Employers are afraid people who are nasty online will reflect on the company who want to uphold a good reputation. Yes, because there are, as we know, some people who are filmed using a completely offensive language, or using racial slurs, using homophobic slurs, or going on some rant where they are just absolutely going down a rabbit hole, and ticking off parts of the population that the business wants to do business with. So at what point is it offensive enough and bad enough for them to get fired? And I tend to fall socially more on the left side of things, on the a little more liberal when it comes to most things, but on that one I'm like, oh, I don't know, because on the one hand you're kind of stomping on somebody's freedom of speech if they're gonna, but on the other hand you have the freedom, you just don't have the freedom for repercussions. So I don't know. That's a tough one. Raquel, hello. Happy Mother's Day. And I missed somebody in the chat. I know I did. Tammy? Where's Tammy? There she is, Tammy. I'm so sorry I missed you this morning, sugar. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much for being here. Here's a pro tip. Have multiple accounts if you want to seem semi-professional. Yes, that's true. But if you go into a bar on your own time, get drunk, get arrested for a DWI, cause an accident, harm others, yes, it might affect your job. Yeah, see, that's the weird thing is that, again, I understand that, I understand that you have the freedom to do that, but should you have freedom from employment repercussions to do that? It's a slippery slope. To me, it's a slippery slope. I don't know. We live in the information age. Everything you do leaves a digital footprint. Oh, you ain't lying. You are not lying. Oh, Roman, quit messing with Patrick. You know he'll do that. He probably does that anyway. You're still cute. Oh, thank you, Brenda. But I mean, when I had firm thighs, when I actually looked good in a miniskirt. Most companies have already established guidelines for employee behavior and what is not allowed. That's true. And that is their condition for employment, right? So if they've got those guidelines and they do have social media guidelines, and you step over those guidelines, okay, now it's problematic. 50-year-old gay man with a husband. I feel attacked. You should. I was just thinking the other day too. I was watching this video of Freddie Mercury, and how riveting he was on stage, and how very magnetic he was. And you reminded me a great deal of him. A great deal of him. And that is meant to be a compliment, not meant to say you have an overbite. But yeah, you really, really do. Susie, good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Mwah. That's awesome. Oh my God, honey, here's my example. If my company comes to me about this account, that's then them problem and not a me problem. Maybe. One thing I've learned in my life about America is we are not as free as they say we are. We are not free to do anything. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. The freedom exists, but the repercussions of employing that freedom in a negative or harmful way, it's that blurry line. You got to be careful. Good morning, Sarah. How are you, sugar? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. My question is, why do people feel the need to film and post themselves being so rude in public? What does it feed? Some people do it to themselves. Some people are, rude. They start off being rude, and you can sort of tell that they're about to unravel. And I think that's when people start, other people start filming them too. So if you're out in public and you're going to be make an ass of yourself, do other people have the right to film that? That's a whole other discussion that will go down. But yeah, if you're doing it yourself and you're actually behaving badly and posting yourselves, because I've seen some influencers who really do it. And Randy, I honestly, some of these people are doing it for the anger clicks, for the outrage clicks, because activity on social media doesn't care if it's positive or negative. So if you have 75,000 people looking at a video, either way the advertising dollars get paid. Either way, you're bringing traffic to that platform. And because of that, you'll still get paid, whether they're mad at you and they engage with you in the chat in an awful way, or in a corrective way, or whether you agree with them. Doesn't matter. The social media platform does not care if it's an anger click or a like click. And frankly, angry responses, people who do deliberate, like poking the bear, people who do deliberate ignorant stuff is the only way I can put it. People who do that many times are actually doing it on purpose to get those anger clicks. It's called rage baiting. Trust me, I have rants at home, but would never film myself and then post it. Yeah. Nothing but their ego. Well, there's money in it too. And views. That's right. Exactly, Michael. Who needs those egotistical people? Apparently, sometimes, apparently, the human condition needs that sort of drama, I guess. I don't know. Are we always looking for a fight as human beings? It's an interesting question. To me, it's a mental illness to need to do that. Yeah, and again, it could be desperation too. Desperation for attention, you know. Even tag football is two hands anywhere within reason. Yes, within reason. Patrick, you are right about that. Social media is a toxic wasteland 99.9% of the time. But you come to Glamma's Brunch on Sunday, and it's actually a beautiful heavenly garden, right? On YouTube. Self promo, what? But why do they need to film themselves in the first place? This is an intentional act. Yes, very much so. But a lot of viewers don't look at that. A lot of viewers don't look at the intentional rage baiting. They're not that aware. A lot of them are younger, and maybe they're not, caught up to speed on things like, most media is BS. Maybe they haven't developed that thick skin or that sense of cynicism, or just maybe critical thinking skills. Just look at the former head of the Library of Congress. Didn't see just get fired because her views are different than Trump's. And not see. See, that's the thing. I don't know if that's because of that, or if because you are not allowed to come out and talk about your work online. And my views are different too, but I don't, it's not part of my job to it's not part of my job to agree with my boss. I am the boss. That is why I think all the rage and supposed outrage is all just made up for clicks. Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, to get views. See, there's the problem. Filming in public is legal. However, when it's filmed for monetary gain in a non-news setting, then it becomes state by state laws. Interesting. I did not know that. I just assumed that anybody, if I walk out of my home, I assume that anybody filming me is allowed to do so. No matter what kind of, so don't throw hissy fits in public. If I'm going to have a hissy fit, have it privately, and with my husband, who is very understanding about hissy fits. Well, hello, Regina. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Brenda, no one gets fired for different views, but it depends on how they act out on them. Breaking laws is breaking laws. Well, and breaking rules is breaking rules. When you're hired by an employer, your employer's rules are set in motion so that your specific employer's expectations. So it's a tough one. Daisy, good morning. How are you, sugar? How are you doing, Dee? It's good to see you. Being background is one thing. However, when you start speaking in or push the camera in your face, you may be entitled to compensation. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that that whether or not it was done for profit varied state by state. So that is an interesting point. Very interesting point. Yeah, I was just curious about what your general thoughts were on that, because I'm of two minds about it. I'm a little ambivalent about it, I could go, I can see the argument in either direction. I can. Freedom of speech is very much protected, very much protected. And at what point is the company invading your personal privacy? because privacy is a very important thing. Um, if they're looking you up on social media, would that be the same as you're, acting a fool in public? If you're not connected to them on social media, if you don't acknowledge that that's your employer, and if you don't have your employer's name on your social media account, should they be able to get you for reprehensible behavior? It's a difficult question. Yes, and that is a big one. Think back about when gays had to hide because of fear of losing their jobs. Yes, absolutely. There are people who still think that's a choice. I often have not agreed with the superior about something at work, but had the good sense to know when to keep my mouth shut or phrase the concern very non threatening and respectfully. Yes. Randy, you are right about that. You're right about that. Yeah. Because I mean, if I'm paying you, you go by my rules on the clock. The thing is that if you go off the clock and you trash talk me and I find out about it, or if you go off the clock and you do something that's so offensive that it's affecting my business, do I have the right to fire you for that? I don't know. I don't know. That's that's a tough one. It's a tough one. Between the line between liberty and responsibility, between freedom and repercussions, is so thin sometimes. It's so thin. And again, I'm not defending people making awful, god awful comments. I'm not defending you know people who are obnoxiously hateful or use hate speech or anything like that. But I'm asking the question, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line on that? I don't know. It's a weird one. In Missouri, it's no fault. You can be fired for no reason at all. Yeah, that's true. We are a no fault state. Defamation. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're right about that. You're right about that. So just something to think about. That's our food for thought for the week. Um, as a mother, I will be rounding out today with and talk about my sons. Before we do that, though, let's go into Poshmark, and I will show you my sales for the week. So my sales on Poshmark, and it starts with this Lily Pulitzer pink top. It was a pink linen top with short little ruffle sleeves, so cute, in great condition. I had it listed for $40. I took a $32. I sent out an offer for 20% off, $32, and so I got a $32 sale, and my earnings were $23.28, which was like $9. Poshmark they took their $7, and then there was also a shipping discount. So, but I didn't pay much for the top at all. And Lily Pulitzer, pink and linen, right there. It says nothing says summer like that. Plus, it was a size large, and it's harder to find Lily Pulitzer in a size large. So I was lucky to get that sale. And it was a great one to start my week. I only had 6 sales this week. I had some Nike sandals that I bought online from another reseller, and they were in like new condition. And I bought them and tried to wear them for a day, and discovered that a size 9 in a Nike's women's flip flop is too small. And if they don't have half sizes, I'll have to go up to a 10. So it was too small and hurt my feet. So I resold them for what I bought them for. I sold them for 18. I took a loss on those. I got 14.40 back, but that was from my personal, that was from my personal purchase. If I purchase something on Poshmark and it doesn't fit, or it fits weird, I usually will just reposh it because somebody somewhere wants it. I got a full price sale, Fundamental Things, white blouse, And it's a really cute little white blouse for summer. That sold for $25 and I made $20. And then I had this vintage 80s gold tone jumpsuit, size 6. And I bought it from Mark and Michael, Two Old Guys Vintage, and it was really just fantastic. I just loved it. And I thought, well, I have to have that and list that because nobody's gonna. So I got that one. I listed it. I sold it for more than I spent for it. So I think I bought it from them for like $8 or something. So I sold it for $29. I made $20.88. So still ahead of the game, and I got to sell something that I really loved looking at and listing. Old Navy, new with tags, chambray jumpsuit. I don't know how, but this ended up in my cart because it was a really great deal. I picked it up at the Salvation Army, and I intended it for myself. The problem is that when you see it in person, it's the line for the waist is a little bit higher, and I have a big tummy, so I actually looked quite old person pregnant, and so I had to let her go. So that sold for $21, and I made $14.48 after fees and shipping discounts. And then the final sale that I made I think that was this morning or last night. No, that was last night. Rothy's. They were part of the shoe package that I got from ThreadUp. I had 60 on them. I got an offer for 40, and I thought, let's just move this. Let's move these things. So I got an offer for 40. I made $32 on that one. And the cost of goods on that one was right about, for the shoe box, because I got a discount, I want to say the cost of goods was right about $4, $4.50. $4.50. I got 15. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I got 15 pairs of shoes for like $80. So those were my 6 for this week, but it was a profitable 6. I mean, I was pretty happy with the profit that came in. I am pregnant with the coffee baby. I am going to give birth to so many beans. So I had 6 sales. I had 2 tops, 2 shoes, 2 jumpsuits. So that's what's moving for me this week. My gross total for those 6 was $165. My net total after Poshmark fees and the final sale total was $125.04. And then if we subtract the $18 at an average cost of goods for $3 per good, $3 per item, we come up with $107.04 was my total profit for this week. If I divide that by the 6 items, my profit per item averaged to $17.84. And that, for me, is a very good week. It's a good week. I did a lot of listing this week, and I did a lot of poking at Poshmark. I am pregnant with a coffee baby. It's a case-by-case study. It is. Okay, that makes sense. And one last thing, when I'm hearing a news article and it starts off with the user on TikTok, no, you've lost all credibility with me. Me too. I'm like, don't do that. I post all the time on YouTube and Facebook. Do not call names and threatens other. Just state my opinion. See, and Randy, that's a good thing. Yeah. I think that would probably keep you in your employers if you are a full-time employee or part-time employee. It would keep you in their good graces for sure. So long story short, $17.84 per profit per item this week. I feel very, very good about that. And 4 of those, again, I was listing more often this week, and just like, a few every day, like 2 or 3 every day. Not every single day, but for the most part. So just kind of kept up the thing, the rhythm. And I think that helped. Trigger what happened this weekend. Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. Mwah. Hello. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you too. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers in the chat and anybody watching later. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you're not cooking or cleaning or having to do any work today. I hope you have the day off. And not from, being a mom, but from having to do all of the chores come with motherhood. Yeah, feel motivated, sure. I am craving, and I get these cravings, eggs Benedict. I love eggs Benedict so much. So I may make Grandpa take me out later on for some eggs Benedict. I don't know if anybody has all day eggs Benedict, but that's what I'm looking for. That's right. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms, all the moms. Whether you have two-legged or four-legged children, happy Mother's Day to you. So I think that almost wraps us up. Two hip chicks traveling back from Costa Rica, I think, this week. And I think, anyway, I think they're coming back from vacation this week. But I hope they've had a wonderful time, and I hope that they have safe travels. Honeys, our hearts are with you. And to wrap things up, right? Take me out, Glampa. He's happy to take me out. It's just a matter of me changing out of my pajamas, and I'm not sure if I want to do that. I am still wearing pajamas. I have pants with donuts and croissants and coffee cups on them, in case you're wondering, and an elastic waist. So yes, I definitely am still in pajamas. But yeah, I think he would take me out if I told him to, or if I said I wanted to go. I mean, I would have to tell him to, like, Anyway. As a mother, I wanted to also share my experience with motherhood. I have two stepsons, and in our family we just call them sons. But my two oldest sons are stepsons, and their mother made it possible for me to have a relationship with them. She could have turned them against me at a very young age. She could have made it very, very difficult on me. She could have made those kids hate me. That's the power of a mother of young children. But she didn't do any of that. She decided to be a kind co-parent, and to trust me with the things most valuable to her in the whole wide world. And I can never, ever thank her enough for that. So to my baby mama, my beautiful co-parent, Marla, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being you. She helped me raise, and I helped her raise, I guess, successful young men. And the latest success is my youngest, the one that I've given birth to, he's the baby, I guess. Well, technically, anyway, he's the baby of the three boys, and he yesterday graduated from college. After 5 years in the Marines. He went to college with a bachelor's degree. He graduated with highest honors, summa cum laude, debt-free, because he went on the GI Bill, headed for his master's degree, found full-time employment, landed a job, got an apartment, has pets, and has paid off a brand new car. Because he worked when he didn't have to. He could have just ridden through college on the GI Bill. But he also worked in the veterans office on site on campus. And because of that, he was able to purchase a brand new car. And he is graduating from college. He graduated from college yesterday, debt-free. And when they called his name onto that stage with a poor background that I grew up with our family being a little bit, white trash. When you come from something like that, your expectations are not that you're going to have, that you're ever going to be able to graduate from college, much less with no debt. And he did both. And I am so, so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I ugly cried when they called his name. I ugly cried when he walked back to the chair. And he stopped and sent me a little heart thing, and his girlfriend sent me kisses, and they're just so sweet together. And so I, as a mother, am so proud of my kids, and I'm proud of myself because I did that. I did that. Now I had some help. Grandpa's an awesome, awesome, parent as well. And we have worked our butts off our entire lives to get where we are and have what we have. And to be able to, help lift our children out of generational poverty into generational wealth, or at least generational success. So yeah, absolutely. I'm taking my pat on the back. I'm taking my victory lap, guys. I did it. I did it. I did it. I raised that. I did that. I'm so proud. I am so proud. And to have 3 fine, upstanding sons who are gainfully employed, good citizens, great, great people with great hearts who would help anybody in need. To have sons that love me and think of me. And my sons have already reached out to me for Mother's Day. I couldn't be more proud. I couldn't be more proud and more happy and more fulfilled as a mother. Unless I had some eggs Benedict, which I'm going to go get now because I'm really craving them. Thank you, Harry. Thank you. It's just, yeah, I can, nobody else can. Don't get it twisted. If I say I'm white trash, that's one thing. Somebody else says it. Okay, well, now I'm going to throw hands and show you white trash. Don't get that twisted. But yeah, Elizabeth, he really is responsible. He had the good sense to learn that from someone. Well, it wasn't just me. His father, his father is definitely a part of that. Mother's job is to gently lead. It's okay to take some credit. Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing the victory laugh. Victory laugh, victory lap. I'm doing toot toot. That's right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can anyone else tell that Glam is proud? All right. I am so proud. I really am. And I'm proud of my kids. And today I can indulge myself and go, well, I'm proud of myself as a parent. I'm proud of myself as a mom. And again, I am eternally grateful to my husband for being an incredible co-parent, to my baby mama and her fiance for being incredible co-parents. And it really does, it takes a village. In our case, we have an entire village. We have a very large family, but there's so much love, so much acceptance. We all go on like vacations together. I mean, we celebrate every single holiday together. So there's nothing but love there. And then to my daughters-in-law, to K and K is all I'm going to say. To my daughters-in-law, much love to them. They are sweet. They're good. They're each their own individuals, and yet they are bringing me up the sweetest, most caring, most loving grandchildren, and frankly, the most attractive children that I've ever laid eyes on. But maybe that's an unbiased opinion from their grandma. So thank you to K and K. And then we'll wrap things up. I started with my mom and with my sister, and I am going to wrap things up by talking about my mother-in-law, who is, my mother-in-law told me when I married her son, that whatever happens in our marriage is our business, and she was going to stand aside and let us experience our own marriage, and that she wouldn't get in the middle of any of the whatever we had going on. And it gave me the freedom to be able to love her son on my own terms. And because of that, our marriage has lasted for a very, very, very long time and continues to be what I would consider a successful marriage. Hopefully Grandpa does too. But she set the bar for being a mother-in-law. She set the bar high. She's thoughtful, she's loving, she's sweet, she's kind. She has nothing ever bad to say about myself or my husband. Or she was instrumental in showing me how to be that to my daughters-in-law. So she gets all of the praise and all the love. So I love you. I love you so, so much, and I appreciate what you've done. Mom, I love you. I've loved you since the moment I popped out, and I will never stop loving you, no matter how hard no matter how hard I fight it, no matter how hard I am to understand. And having a teenage daughter who's kind of mental does not help. But she survived me, and if you can survive me, you survive darn near anything. And I love you, Mom. I love you, my mother-in-law. I love you, Mom. I love you, daughters-in-law. And I love you, baby mama. And to all of the moms in the chat, and to every single mother out there today, and to anyone watching, please don't forget. Don't ever forget. Glamma loves you too. You have a wonderful day. Bye.